The FBI arresting two men who allegedly operated the spy network in Chinatown, which is the first known overseas police station in the U.S. Joining us now is the Republican chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Ohio Congressman Mike Turner. Good to have you back, sir. So, Congressman, what is your understanding of these so-called police outposts? What were they doing?
Yeah, well, I think this is just going to be the start of what we're going to find in this, China as an authoritarian regime, expanding their footprint into the United States as part of their surveillance society of their own citizens, and certainly penetrating into the United States. It's great that we're beginning to take actions against this. And certainly one of our questions is going to be, as a committee, why did this take so long for us to find this? What were they doing here? And also, how do we prevent this in the future?
Right, because according to what DOJ says, this started in 2022, and these alleged spies were using Zoom with a Zoom employee to disrupt dissident conversations. This appears to be an escalation by China, and it comes on the heels of a tense few months after a Chinese spy balloon was shot down. What do you think is going on here? I mean, you said earlier that China is expanding its footprint with surveillance. Do you see this as more aggression toward the U.S. from China?
Absolutely. They're seeing threats from the United States and, of course, from just the movement of democracy. They're an authoritarian regime. It's why they're, of course, gravitating toward Russia, and that they're challenging us. And as you just said, they're challenging us on our streets. They're challenging us in the skies. And, we need to bring a stop to it. This is a start. But clearly, they have expanded their surveillance society that they've already implemented in their own country into others, even now, penetrating into the United States.
Should there be retaliation by the Biden administration and Congress?
Well, certainly I think what we need to do here is to scrub this and all the other activities that we're seeing, so we can learn as much about what they're doing to be able to stop it in the future. And then certainly this needs to be dealt with China itself. We can't have the Chinese government believing that it can be in our skies and on our streets, and at the same time have our government do nothing. So we'll certainly be pushing the intelligence community and with our law enforcement and this administration as to how are they going to be answering this to stop China in the future.
China's president is also calling for an increase in combat training, signaling it is one step closer to invading Taiwan. Do you, as the head of the House Intelligence Committee, see it as inevitable at this point that invasion will happen?
Well, I do believe that we should take our adversaries at their word, and he has made very open statements that he is willing to use force to take Taiwan and end the democracy that is there. We certainly see now what they're doing even in the United States. They have no boundaries. So the fact that he is calling his nation to war certainly should be a concern to everyone.
But do you think it's inevitable that it will happen?
I think that we do have still an ability in deterrence to let China understand the cost associated with invading Taiwan. And I think certainly our Western allies need to be doing more to join with us in making that message clear. It's not inevitable, but I think it certainly is clearly their stated goal.
We've been talking a lot about China as well with this DOD leak investigation. Some in your party have praised this leaker for exposing U.S. secrets. What is your response to them? Well,
it's completely irresponsible. The individual that leaked DOD secrets that, of course, put actual lives at risk is no hero. And at the same time, what we see here in not understanding that lives are at risk, you also have this sense that there's a political agenda here that really is not at all established by any of the facts. The other thing that's important here is we do not have any boots on the ground in Ukraine except the routine ones that are at our embassy for security. There is no presence, U.S. military presence in Ukraine.
All right, Republican chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Mike Turner, thank you so much for your time.